The weight of faith and control.
So I'm telling you, Lois, you can't leave me now. You can't do that. God is fixing to bless us. You don't have to get with the program. You don't have to do none of that. All you have to do is sit back and watch God. Sit back. Watch your daddy make his moves. Just like I moved you overseas when your mama got shot. I moved you in a place where you can't get harmed. I moved you in a place. You followed us all the way. You followed us down to Savannah. You follow us down to Savannah. You followed us back to Georgia, and then you followed us here. And you follow us, and you're right there right now. You're right there. You done got settled. You done got set. And I'm telling you, Lois, it's not a time for you to play right now. It's not a time for you to make a mistake right now. That will be a big mistake. Do you understand?
I hear you, I said. No one wants to believe that they are giving up just before their breakthrough. That belief, I'm convinced, has kept many people hanging on to things they should have long let go of. The Bible teaches that it rains on the just as well as the unjust. But Pastor preached that hard times resulted from sin or an attack from the devil, which then implies that blessings are a result of obedience and compliance. He capitalized on falsely identifying with the plight of others and the notion of a shared enemy. But my father caused his own bad outcomes, the real culprit. He was the reason Mother got shot.
That would be a big mistake. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that, honey. So I'm telling you, please don't. Don't feel free to do that. Please know God when you hear him. God is going to speak to your heart, and he's going to tell you that's a bad move. He's going to tell you not to do that. I don't have no real deacons but your husband. You don't know that?
Nah, I replied. How could he presume to know what God would tell me?
I don't have but one deacon, Lois. George is still smoking crack. I'm not a fool, you know. I'm not a foolish pastor. I see things. God does not lead me to be a fool. I have one deacon in the building, and you think God is saying for him to go, to leave me, to leave us?
He said it with such conviction, but it was yet another lie. My uncle had stopped smoking crack 11 years prior. In disbelief, I wondered, did my father smear and disparage his own brother's sobriety to get me to stay? Wow, but is this a new low for him? I can't say that it is.
Lois, I'm doing everything in my power to do things God's way. Everything. You may only look at me and say, oh, my daddy, he can do this better. He can do it another way. Why did he do that? Why he going that way? Why he doing this? Why is he doing that? God is talking to me, Lois, and you have to be real careful. You have to be real careful. You hear your mother when she said God spoke to her and told her to shut up. The Holy Ghost told her to shut up?
I replied. That was a veiled threat.
You remember that?
Yeah. My father was skillful at using the Holy Ghost to deliver a threat.
Do you think she's playing?
No, I don't think she's playing, I said. Mother was the co-pastor. People said that she was anointed and could preach, the highest compliments you can get in a black church. Those compliments made my father quite jealous, and by the time we left, it had been nearly a year since he let her preach. In fact, Pastor was only letting my brother Doc preach, and he was only allowed to talk about speaking in tongues. Mother was certainly in tune with a higher power to be able to handle my father with such grace and patience. I suppose there were a lot of those moments where the Holy Ghost told her to shut up. I remember witnessing Pastor chase her around the table with a hot iron when she tried to speak up one time. I'm sure there were times when she told herself to shut up because that's what kept her safe. She knew there was no point, no benefit to speaking up. It was a lose-lose situation. She was keeping the peace because at least she could see some divine intervention in that. When I was a teenager, I told her to just agree with him. Not that she'd be saying yes to everything, but agree without agreeing to, or to do anything. I believe that was the moment that Mother and I got closer. It was like we bonded over the unspoken understanding that there was something very wrong with my father. She knew I knew, that I recognized the patterns too. But we did not know just how sinister things would become.
And I'm telling you, Lois, it's not the time for you to make a move like this. This would be a bad move. This would be a very bad move for us all involved. And I'm telling you, God is not telling you to leave. It's not God's voice that you're hearing right now. I don't care if your husband is saying, hey this, hey that. No, I don't care where it's coming from, that voice. When it's time for you to leave, I'll know. And I'll come to you and I say, hey Lois, if you need to leave, it's okay now. It's all good.
So I can't leave until my father says I can leave? Don't listen to your husband. Don't listen to God. Listen to me. Is that what I'm hearing? Is this biblical or proper in any way? The truth is, he knew how to get to me. Nothing was more important to me than my faith and my family. That's how he kept us there for so long. Phil and I both loved to serve. Technically, our first date was at my father's church. I felt obligated to go to my father's church to support his vision and to compel others to do the same. Even as an adult, I didn't feel like I had a choice of what church I wanted to go to or if I wanted to go at all. He expected it, and I knew not to miss too much church. There was a time when I was immersed in church business and church activities before I got too sick, but my illnesses interfered with me going. I didn't mind doing what I could when I was well. The environment became too toxic, though, and it caused too much stress. I was extremely sick, but it was my loyalty and silent compliance that mattered to him most.
God is building this house, God is. This is not the house that Jack built. And I know you say, he keeps preaching the same thing. The people is not getting it. It's like we got retardos sitting up in there. We got retardos. Like, you know what I mean? Like they have to be able to get the Holy Ghost or nothing else is gonna work.
Why would he call his members retardos? Because they failed to see how grand he was? How could he say such awful things about the very people he claimed to love and spend nights awake praying for? These are the people who gave, served, and sacrificed to not only keep the church doors open, but to also support pastors' side hustles. The military was the one thing that my father always promoted, the one thing that he accomplished himself. So he pushed all 5 of us to serve, but I was the last to join. I went into the military for several reasons. I had already gotten a master's and was working as an assistant city planner and grant writer for the city I lived in, but my degree wasn't paying for itself. I wasn't getting a return on my education investment, plus I just needed to get away. I was going into my 3rd marriage. I needed distance, but I needed the security as well, and that's what the military provided me. I could get away, and I didn't have to worry about my safety or how I would pay my bills. Yeah, that's what I tell everybody. But it was the only thing my father respected. He even forced my mother to join and request an overseas duty station, Germany specifically. He was stationed there when he served in the early 70s. His father forced him to join when he was 17 years old. I was told that his father took him to the recruiting station, signed him over to the army, and left him there. The military was a last-ditch effort. Different people tried to take him in, tame him, but he was out of control. No one could seem to get through to him.
Stay out of this scene right here, honey. Stay out of that scene, because if the devil get you over there, Lois, he's gonna kill you. He's not gonna play with you. He's not gonna play with you anymore. The devil is not trying to play with you anymore. You too serious of a threat. You way too serious of a threat to him. Because the moment, I don't care if it is another church, you wake up, you will say, oh my God, look what I did. Oh my God, I could see. Okay, that's what my daddy was talking about. But it might be too late. This is serious. This is serious. If the devil gets a chance, he will kill you, Lois. He'll kill your husband. And you won't even be guilty of nothing.
He would demand compliance through coercive fear tactics. The implication is that I'm protecting you, therefore you must comply to these safety standards, or I remove my protection. And just like that, God will simply remove protection, and the devil then has freedom to attack at my father's request. The only reason the devil hasn't had his way with you is because Pastor is protecting you. You can't protect yourself. You're going to die. Without me, you go straight to hell. Do not collect $200. Give me a break. Every daughter whose hero was also her villain. Have you ever loved someone who also left a scar on your heart? For so many daughters, the person they look up to as their hero has also caused them the deepest pain. Dear sister, your pain is valid and your experience matters. You are more than the weight of your struggles. There are many like you, and together we stand stronger. Healing doesn't mean erasing the past. It means reclaiming your power step by step. Let this be the moment you choose yourself. You are not alone. Lean into this shared sisterhood. Comment, "I choose to heal" if you're ready to start your journey, and let's walk this path together.